Happy Halloween, everybody! Straight from Kale's Tales. Let's wrap off Halloween night with one of the most underrated Halloween, small Halloween shorts straight out of the Disney Vault. Everyone's favorite comedy quack up, who recently, and it is fair because he recently just turned 90 years old. Everyone's favorite Donald Duck. The short-tempered Mallard, who is a bizarre rageaholic. Donald's Halloween Scare was released in 2000. It was part of a segment and an underrated Disney show called The House of Mouse, which premiered from 2001 to 2003, and was also part of the small direct-to-DVD video of Mickey's House of Villains, which that's how I found about this cartoon growing up. And this was not easy to find, let me tell you. Now we all know the form of Donald Duck. Let's see, Mickey Mouse is usually known as the straight man, the usual happy-go-cheery, going on picnics with Minnie. With Donald, he's more of a naughty child, a little bit more mean-spirited, and those are ones I enjoyed more as a kid. And there's usual format with him and his nephews, Huey, Dewey, Louie. With this, it is a Halloween environment world where where the three nephews trick or treat, and Donald's mean and Donald's cruel to them, and so they get back at him, and just put Donald through the ringer. If you love seeing Donald Duck suffer, then this is the one I recommend you guys. We're going to get into it right away. The background sky is a work of art here with the light and dark blue. And here you have Huey, Dewey, and Louie and their scary shadows. Even to In the Hall of the Mountain King by Edvard Grieg. And here you have, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. You can tell by... they're basically triplets who are, Donald's nephews. I believe you could easily tell them apart. How can you tell, when they're really the same, most by color, which I think Huey's red, Dewey is blue, Louie is green, and they're all wearing the same devil costume. The best remembered Halloween special of Donald was mostly Trick or Treat. Yeah, sure, they're poised cheat. One of them is just wearing a witch hat and carrying a broomstick, and that's it. One's wearing devil costume, the other a ghost. But at least they weren't the same. There is a reason why there's a difference between Huey, Dewey, and Louie and Alvin and the Chipmunks. Yes, the Chipmunks, they also wear red, blue, green, but at least they have their different personalities. Alvin's the wise ass that's always one step ahead and gets his comeuppance. Simon is the social brainiac, but still is a caring older brother. And Theodore has a massive hunger problem, but he has a big heart. He's innocent and believes in everything. With Huey, Dewey, and Louie, perhaps, however, it seems like they're just reasons for Donald to interact with. There was no really bland personalities, and they're pretty much to get the plot going and to just really pull tricks on Donald whenever he provokes them. I do love the creativity, such as the lighting and the background of each Halloween setting. They really, when it comes to Halloween specials, they're either gonna make it really creative and fun. That's one of my favorite parts of the season here. It's one of the most creative holidays ever, besides Christmas. And especially Minnie Mouse here as the witch, pretty fun. Also, I don't know if what's in that cauldron, if it's burning or not. It's clearly not, because she's got quite a lot of candy in there. One of them is her cat Figaro, which always made my mind ponder since I was a young kid. Isn't Figaro Geppetto's cat back in the 40s? It's like that theory of, is Figaro like Thackeray Banks, an immortal cat? Like when Geppetto died, then Figaro went to the next owner, which is Minnie Mouse, I guess. I have no idea. I like to think that. Most artists with the color purple, or very very dark chartreuse here, I'm guessing possibly purple or amethyst color, is that it really does mix with the dark of the Halloween vibe a bit. Underrated Halloween color, I say, besides orange and yellow. Fortunately, they're too much of a light color, but purple, it does stand out. And as for Mickey here, I feel like, the costumes to switch. I can picture Mickey Mouse as the devil, dressed up as a devil, or the devil himself. If you know what I'm talking about, we all know about the Disney World. Come on. We all know it's literally hell. Goofy, who's been voiced by the Great Bill Farmer for about 40 years, since I think before Goof Troop, or Goof Troop was his first, and I think he's still doing Disney stuff for, goofy, no pun intended, but goofy things, I know he was recently on Jim Cummings' podcast of how the debate on, is Goofy a dog or not? What is he? So that theory is always gonna swirl around, like, he's a drawing. And this is a pretty good joke right here. Let's see, everyone else is dressed as a Halloween monster or creature. Like Minnie's a witch, Mickey's Count Dracula, but Goofy got completely screwed up with his holidays. Like Halloween isn't eggs, it's candy, and he's sort of right. I mean, you can put candy in eggs, but it's pretty good. Like, he's hiding behind a tree. Well, he got like some sort of like piece of wood or cardboard, and made it sculpt into a tree and tied it around his waist like it's a costume, and you can tell someone's hiding behind there. And that's just classic Goofy. The lighting here on Donald's tugboat house, just the light and dark blue with the moon behind, the full moon behind the tugboat. It's like I feel like anyone who makes this fine art, this is underrated background art animation here. Well, some of it, of course, but we will get to that. Second, most fans starting to, I've no doubt point out that the three triplets, Huey, Dewey, Louie, all three of them in this House of Mouse are voiced by Tony Anselmo, who's been voice of Donald Duck for 40 years, since I think even before DuckTales. But fun fact of Tony Anselmo, we'll get into history. The original voice of Donald was Clarence Nash. Clarence Nash since Disney back in the 30s, and he did Donald like a party favor, and so until he was in his deathbed, Clarence was Clarence Ducky Nash was Donald, and Tony Anselmo was an animator. And Clarence Nash kind of coached Tony, to make a much better duck-like sound for Donald. And so on his deathbed, Clarence I'm giving you Donald. And so I think Tony's still doing Donald stuff, because I hope this is right. Because Donald was recently on Hot Ones, and I hope this is right. I hope it was Tony that voiced him. But anyway, in this, Tony to do the traditional of the Donald Duck cartoons with Huey, Dewey, and Louie, his nephews, is that Clarence Nash, he voices both Uncle Donald and the three, and not really doing a kid voice for them, just maybe a little bit high pitched, or doesn't really change his voice. But here in the House of Mouse shorts, with Tony's doing the same thing with the twins as well, like almost like a tradition thing, which to me always sounded a little bit weird, bonkers. To me, the twins, in my opinion, I'll always have a soft spot for when the late great Russi Taylor, who was the voice of Minnie Mouse, Martin Prince, and The Simpsons, and others. She voiced Huey, Dewey, Louie since DuckTales, and to me she'll always be the twins. So. This is a hilariously mean-spirited cartoon. So it has that traditional formula of a Donald Duck cartoon. Is Donald pranks his three nephews, and Scorn, or Revenge. Like the three of them, they need to be provoked, like the Warner Brothers, or Slappy Squirrel, or Bugs Bunny. Like if they're provoked by somebody, or it's someone who's very jerky to them, then they need to get like vengeance, like revenge on them, and that's what the three do, is just torment poor Donald, which it will get pretty. I don't know if this is an animation error or it was just because of a screw thing, but the last shot we did with Louie, I believe he's the green one, is half his costume was torn when it was stuck in Mickey's coffin, and one shot when they're running away from Donald Duck, when he scared the nephews, his tail's back, in piece, and then there's shot to when the tail's gone again. So I don't know if that was an error or they forgot put it back in, but serves Donald right for not locking his doors, because now his sleep paralysis demons are in the Hall of the Mountain King are going to give him a fright that he'll never forget, which is pretty creative. So they got some glue here. They put on his face. Sure, that won't damage him at all. This does where it does get much more mean-spirited. Hear me out. This special is beautifully mean, especially when Donald is just the whole night is going through the ringer. It's kind of like serves you right when he's got this mask and his hook stuck to him, and he's accused as being like as murdering his nephews.
Just as I suspicion, you're under arrest, laddie. Come back, you maniac!
I always found that a little bit creepy too when I was watching it as a little kid. Well, to me it was as Louie, the green one, is wearing the cop mask as a face, and he still talks in his voice, and he still laughs like a duck, and like, oh, that's weird. Ooh.
Oh, you bad maniac person!
And I know a certain other feathery duck that can relate to your pain, Donald. torture, fire, and pain. You both could beat up. Again, Donald recently just turned 90, and I love him a bit more than Mickey Mouse, and honestly, particularly because of how mean-spirited his cartoons are, but and how much he suffers through and how much he's tortured. Particularly like that one cartoon where he is on a camping trip with his nephews. He's bandaged up and then chased by a bear. There's that one where he is haunted and almost killed by a gorilla. There's that one, Duck Pimples, where he is either losing his mind or is haunted by ghosts, and he's almost knifed. And maybe Donald Goofy the Three Musketeers, where he almost gets his head chopped off in a guillotine. It kind of boggles me. Like, literally 90 years of just emotionally and physically tormenting this duck. That's a funny great face there. He not only does he have, I mean, for a few minutes had his hockey mask like glued to his beak, to his face, but he was hit so hard with a tombstone that he's made our face just like Daffy would when he gets shot in the head by Elmer. And it's a third hack I'll always still remember around the Halloween season, that it gets a little bit more dark vibes here, and it always stuck with me, and I just want to recommend to you guys. Well, they're clearly not dead. They're clearly just pulling a prank on Donald. It's the fact that they're coming out like zombies or the undead is that they're kids, so it's, duck kids. So it's like dead kids are coming out the grave, and I think the last time I felt disturbed about dead kids was Terrifier 3. The kills are fun, but I want to see that bad. I'm just saying, I do. That I love this dark imagery. That's exactly why I made the thumbnail for this video, is just straight in the eyes, like yellow mixed in with the redness, especially the red environment behind Huey here, to death, and a great reaction out of Donald. And sometimes, like, eyes and pupils, they can be the most expressive, and like they scared the living shit out of him, and just gonna make his night something he'll never forget.
It is us, Lyle, Eric, and Huey Jimenez.
The chase scene here, I guess you call it chase scene, of Donald trying to avoid his undead nephews, is pretty fun, especially when it causes mishaps of him surfing on his tombstone and he can't control it at all, and the three are on his tail. And the way that Huey, Dewey, Louie, they approach Donald like back for like a zombie or Frankenstein's monster is a little bit eerie. And it's already 7 minutes, and I already felt disturbed by some undead with fangs and evil eyes. I mean, coming at you. And like Donald's already like at a young age. Like Disney had some disturbing shit that terrified us as a little kid, and they own that.
What are you talking about?
If those are wondering what the hell that those two just said there, oh, don't worry, I already got subtitled. As a little kid, I had the oddest habit of always watching, no matter what movie on DVD, I always have the subtitles on or closed captioning because I didn't know what they were saying, especially when it's anything involving Donald. I didn't know what when God's name he or the ducks were saying. And here we have, the selfish one shall die, is what the green one says, which you can barely you can barely hear it with or without the subtitles. It still sounds pretty effed up. The selfish one shall die. And so it's pretty nice, much of a happy ending. A little bit as Donald promises to, get his nephew's candy back. I cross my heart. As long as that, gets to save his life. Literally, basically, get our candy or we'll be in this hole.
Where'd everyone go? I got the candy. Oh well.
Another good running joke is, that came back is once again Goofy cannot get anything right, even his holidays. Like they're dressed as Easter Bunny, like hippity hoppity, and now he's giving out candy canes, and like it's the wrong holiday, of course. And there you have it. That was Donald's Halloween scare. Does it hold up? Sure hope does around Halloween. And I feel like this whole scenery, there was a pinch of colors here, especially when Goofy's trailer, there was either dressed as fully Easter and then to Christmas. Especially the color backgrounding is something I can enjoy. The mean-spirited humor here does hold up. It's either revenge take on Donald, him suffering through hell is rememberable, and just something to top it. Before Halloween's over. And a fun fact here, as I'm recording this, it's a week before Halloween night, and I'm recording this so before I go and see my family back home at the time, which is about a 3-hour drive here. And so I hope that that's just some of the home recommendations I had this year. So I hope you all enjoy it, and we'll get right back to my usual bonkers tales. Anyway, thank you all for watching.